Daytona, a crown jewel of NASCAR, and the site of a clean slate. Drivers show what they've got, but make no mistake, it takes a lot of luck and a showcase of your greatest skills to get that trophy. Welcome to Daytona International Speedway. "35 drivers set to grid for the Daytona 225. With a new car and stages thrown into the mix, this will be sure to add some spice to the race tonight and this season. Hi guys, I'm Eliza Bethel alongside Pete Ruzick, and it's going to be a fun season. Pete, how you doing out there?
Eliza, how about this? Daytona Season 4, after two different series champions in the Cup cars, time to flip on over to what they call the B car, the Xfinity car, whatever you want to call it. I know it's going to be a great season. Glad to be back. How are you?
I'm doing good. I cannot believe we're into a season 4. How about that? And I'll let you know that we've had only 2 different winners here at Daytona. Our first season, we had Jimmy Cocker. And then for season 2 and 3, we had Thomas Flitcroft. So it's going to be wild to see what we can do as far as tonight goes, who will be the winner, and who are we going to see bring home yet another trophy. I'm excited to see it, but these guys are getting ready for qualifying. And as I said, we're going to have stages tonight. We'll go over that in a minute, but we got some guys already out on the track, a couple of rookies out here. One of them being Chris Karch. So great to see him out here. We'll see him out here shortly. But I don't think we have any more new names just yet.
Yeah, I tell you, the core group of guys, girls, drivers, just the core group here in the Shake and Bake iRacing Now Xfinity Series just gets better and better, stronger and stronger every single year. This is a group that has kind of migrated over from console and has just gotten better every single season. And I'm absolutely ecstatic, looking forward to it as the season unfolds.
Absolutely. We have a lot of the same drivers, 35, so a lot of veterans out here. These times are going to be so incredibly close, and I'm excited to see who's going to be on pole. That's going to give you a nice head start out here, but Xfinity-wise, let's talk about these cars. They're a little squirrely, so once you get in the draft for these cars, you're going to see a lot of these guys wiggle back and forth trying to remain in control of these cars. And you're going to have to watch overheating your engine as you are in the draft and pushing the guy ahead of you.
Yeah, you're not lying, and that's a great point. I was actually talking to Jarrett Cardwell. I believe he's in the 12 this season, and he was pushing his teammate in the 40 Karch. You were talking about him just a little bit ago. He said he wanted to see just how long he could push him before the motor blew, and I don't think they actually got to that point before a little incident happened right in front of them. But yeah, new car, you throw away the old notebook and you got to start all over again.
Absolutely. We see Jeff No. He's going to be out here in the lead on pole so far, and I think we're going to see a lot of changes with that. We have Philip Bridgman in second with a 50.63, Riley Rosenbrook in third, Cody Kalinka fourth, and Chris Karch out there in fifth, Andrew Wisdom in sixth, Matthew Gale in seventh, and the list just continues to grow. And another new driver, Brian McCann, out there P4 so far.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I was watching Brian McCann and Jeff No and Tom Flitcroft, Micah Allard, and a whole bunch of these guys. And it's interesting. Everybody said in the next gen car, you didn't want to be up by that wall because it actually slowed you down. I didn't see barely a car move away from the wall, keeping that momentum in these things on the high side and diving on down to the yellow. It felt like a traditional qualifying session here at Daytona.
Absolutely. We'll see what these guys can do, but man, it's really fun to see these guys back out on track. Season 4, Daytona is always wild. So it's great to be here, and thank you guys so much in the audience. I have a little bit of a treat here. If you guys are subs, you can cheer on your favorite team. If you look at the subs in there, the little emotes form, you're going to see some of your favorite drivers' team out there that you can root them on with.
Nice. Emotes are always a lot of fun, and they're great to be able to use for anything, whether it's, hype trains or, working with the people that you most commonly see in any given broadcast or channel. So that's really, really cool. Nice little treat for you.
Absolutely. Justin Pieces, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well out there. Chloe, Evan, I see you guys out there. 2 liters of dew. First time chatter out there. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. Let me know who your favorite driver or favorite team is. Let us know in chat.
All right, looks like it's starting to wind down. A couple guys left. It looks like Oscar Henson just finished his qualifying. Mike Pop Bear Campbell, he's out there in the 71. He just took P16. Dane Cruz, Connor Cunningham, Joe Berg, Jimmy Cocker, and Brendan Book still to take time.
I'll tell you what, our champion from season 2 and 3, Andrew Wisdom, sitting on pole so far. Take a look at those 50.53s, though. We have 4 drivers, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, with the same exact time. So that just goes to show you, I mean, these super speedways, very, very tight racing and very tight times. But Andrew Wisdom, he's going to bring out the first pole of the season. So huge congratulations to him. We're getting ready to bring out the grid here.
Yeah, a little bit of a warm-up session. We'll see if that gets advanced or not. It's kind of a call by the admins in the tower. But I was kind of watching that scoring pylon continue to scroll. And Eliza, it looked like the top 15 or 16 were separated by less than a tenth. I mean, you want to talk about cars under a blanket. These guys are extremely competitive and ready to roll tonight.
Absolutely. While we are waiting for these drivers, let's go ahead and take a look at the track analysis for Daytona. It's going to look like 90 laps tonight for 225 miles. We are going to have no faster pairs, not only for tonight, but the entire season. You mess up your car, you got to go in and repair that just like you do in real life. Stages, we're going to have a length of 15 for the first stage, 15 for the second stage, and the final stage will be 60 laps long. So I'm thinking for fuel, you're not going to need any fuel for the first and second stage, but you will have to make at least one stop for the third stage. For those tire sets, we're going to have 3 sets of those fresh Goodyear tires.
I tell you, looking at those first 2 stages, it's going to be all about track position and how much you can make up. Remember, getting on the pit road and off pit road and getting into your box and out of your box, that is a whole dance, Eliza. You got to get to your pit box as fast as you can without speeding so you don't get that black flag. Got to get it into your pit stall, hit that pit stop just right. Then you got to get out of pit road as fast as you can. Meanwhile, oh yeah, by the way, not speeding. Then you got to come out on track, follow the blend line all the way around. Don't go up on track, otherwise you get another penalty. So there is so much that can happen on one of these pit stops, whether it's under a stage or under green flag, hey, or even under caution, which hopefully we don't see a lot of. But there's a lot that can happen in pit stops, a whole lot of moving and shaking going on.
Absolutely. And pit stops is a simple thing that is highly overlooked. As you said, it can mean a lot for your race. And if you mess up heading in, heading out, missing your pit stall, that could mean a difference between a win and not. So that is something that hopefully these guys worked on, because you will find out, especially when you're in a huge group and you're trying to make your way in, you're going to have to work with these other drivers to make sure that you're not going to run into each other and that your braking points are going to be on point where you're not going to run into any issues. So it's a lot more difficult than it lets on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And talking about the braking points, you don't want to adjust those brake biases too much to where if you do have to get on those binders in a hurry, you don't have that car coming around on you. So that's another thing. There's so much that can happen. Yeah, these are fixed, cars. They're not open sets by any means. But there are changes that these drivers can make to either make or break their races.
Absolutely. These guys getting that warm up in, and I think it's going to be good to get a little session where they can run together, see how the car is going to handle in a crowd of competitors. It runs totally different. It's a little more squirrely. It's going to overheat a lot more. You see Connor Cunningham all over Cody Kalinka. Now, I can tell you, if he is on that bumper for probably a lap and a half, his car's gonna blow. His engine is just going to overheat, absolutely. So that is something you're gonna see some of these cars go down low or go up high, back off a little bit to try to breathe some air into that engine and cool it off.
Absolutely. Watching a few of these guys, make practice stops on pit road. Right now, it looks like Cody Kalinka, you just talked about him a moment ago. He is the fastest in this session. Connor Cunningham right with him. Jimmy Cocker, our season 1 Daytona winner. Joe Turley and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer round out the top 5. And just as I say that, Mike Campbell went up and took that top 5 spot here in this practice. Eliza, we got just about 30 seconds to go before we kick off season 1 officially. Who's your driver this evening?
I heard another driver ask about who do they think is going to win, and Tom Flitcroft definitely going to be a favorite. I mean, he's won 2 years in a row. You see Jimmy Cocker out there. He's always really strong at these super speedways. And, man, I don't know. Andrew Wisdom, he's on pole. He's got a lot of experience. We've seen him great on road courses and a huge improvement on ovals. My pick's going to be between Andrew Wisdom and Tom Flitcroft. How about you, Pete?
I tell you, I've been watching this guy run a lot of super speedway races over the off season and in his league and whatnot. I'm actually going to go with Mike Papa Bear Campbell to grab this W and completely upset the field, but he's due.
All right. I would love to see that. That'd be really cool to see. So let's make it happen. I'm down for it. Here we go to grid. And you see it right here, Andrew Wisdom in that one machine coming off fresh from a championship. He's going to be pole sitter tonight with Jeff No on his outside. And in row 2, we have Cody Kalinka in that 79 machine with Tom Flitcroft on his outside. Brian McCann in row 3 with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer to his outside. Riley Rosenbrook in 7th with Justin Anasagak in 8th. We have Steven Maggio in 9th with Brody Falliker on his outside.
Joseph Turley is going to start in the 97, sitting P11 and round out the top 12. We're talking about Matt Gale in the 67. P13, Philip Bridgman in the 9 with Christopher Karch, newcomer to the Shake and Bake iRacing Xfinity Series, sitting 14th in that 40. Jose Ruiz, welcome back to Team FTR in that 23, sitting 15th. 16th, Mike Campbell in that 71. 17th, looks like it's going to be Jordan McGraw, J-Mac, in the 34 with Oscar Henson in that double 8, sitting 18th. 19th, Luke Allen in the 7 with Jacob Palmer in that SciAps number 39, sitting 20th.
21st, we have Brendan Book in that 5 machine with Austin Mitty in that 22. 23rd spot, we're going to have Jeremy Kramer with Micah Allard in that 61 machine. And in 25th, we have Jimmy Cocker with Dane Cruz in the 26th position. 27th, we have Connor Cunningham with John Honeycutt in that 50 car. 29th is going to be Evan Knopp with Thomas Harmon. Interesting to see him out here in that 30 machine, in that 30th position. Man, I'll tell you what. And Pete, bring it home.
Sure. Francis Hamilton in the 48, sitting 31st. To his outsides around row 18, Joe Berg in the 93. Andrew Sanford in the 37, sitting 33rd. 34th going to be Chuck Cody in the 31. Kevin Dallatore in the 92, 35th. 36th is going to be Jarrett Cardwell in the 12. And what a studded field this is. 36 brand new Xfinity drivers ready to kick off the season opener, Eliza. I'm ready to roll. These guys are too. I think the nerves are probably a little bit of a peak right now to see who's going to be friends, who's going to be their best friend to push it all night long.
I agree. It's going to be crazy. And we have Andrew Wisdom. We're on his back bumper here, and he looks like he is just raring to go. A field of 36, and we're getting ready to make this happen for the Xfinity season. Out of the cups this season, We have stages in the mix. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, and off we go. We already have these guys going side by side. Take a look at this field.
Watch the one of Andrew Wisdom, new number this year, got rid of the 51, but he got a little bit faster of a start than the 79. The Cody Kalinka right behind him. Jeff Noe up high in that TJ's team number 14, and Tom Flickroft in that Bud number 8, giving him a shove.
Yeah, we have Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that top 5. Brian McCann just sitting out side of the top 5 and 7th, and it just goes to show. Take a look at how close these guys are. I mean, you can be 10th place and be right up with the leaders. That's how close and crazy this is. We have that 14 machine, Jeff Noe, taking the lead out front on that bottom side. He can work any side he wants, but he's doing a great job.
Absolutely. That 8 car, Tom Flickroft, gave him a shove well enough to where he's able to get on down to the bottom right in front of that one, and he's going to come across the line and lead the first lap.
A lot of movement throughout the field. Let's see if we can take a look. We have Brody Falliker in 9th. We're going to have Joseph Turley in 11th. Matthew Gale in 12th. Just these guys side by side all the way through. No one going 3 wide just yet. This is still a fresh season, and you don't know exactly how these cars are going to react. You bring it to Daytona, you're really asking for it if you're going 3 wide.
You're asking for a whole lot of trouble, especially if you get stacked up like they are right there on the bottom side. Big checkup behind the 79, which really made a little bit of an accordion effect. That put, I want to say it's the 61 in the middle, able to find a hole right behind the driver of the 40, newcomer Karch, as he kind of blinking out just a little bit, with 61 staying right there.
Yeah, leave it to Micah to prove me wrong. He goes straight in the middle, tries to find a gap, and tucks back in on that high side. Meanwhile, as you say, we've got Christopher Karch directly in front of him, and Brian McCann. He's sitting P11 in that 6 car on down low.
Yeah, I gotta wonder. Brian McCann started in P5, P6 right now, back to P11. So down 6 spots. You see a whole lot of movement on the top side. You gotta wonder if he's down a few spots already just because of that big checkup that happened on the bottom.
On board with Brody Fallica for Team FIWB, and he's on that high side. You can see just how tight this is. He's got Matthew Gale, it looks like, directly behind him. But I'll tell you what, extremely close, and there's not a lot of wiggle room. One car makes a mistake, and you can tell just how easy it would be to ruin your race and a lot of others.
Absolutely. Right now, everybody really minding their business. As you said in the beginning of the race, no fast repairs at all this season. So everybody just kind of staying in line, not really making any big, bold, or aggressive moves just yet. And I don't think we're going to see too much of that in the end of stage 1 or stage 2, but we're definitely going to see a lot of that at the end.
I absolutely agree. Let's just take a listen to these engines and watch these cars go by for a second. There you go. These guys are absolutely flying, and Evan says, crank it up. Let's see. Stephen Maggio, he is out there leading the field, and then Jonathan. These guys side by side, so he's going to be nose out, and it looks like these cars get a little wiggly as they're getting some nice pushes throughout the corner and on exit.
Well, we saw the 8 top Flickroft shove the 14 earlier. Well, right now he's got that HendrickCars.com number 51 of Stephen Maggio just ahead of him. It seems like whoever comes off the front bumper of that number 8 somehow gains a point for leading a lap.
We're on board the blimp cam, and I'll tell you what, this is a great view because you can see the cars that are behind the leaders. They're on top of the leaders, pushing them, except around the corners. And then when they come off, they're going to try to meet right back up there. You don't see really anyone else pushing those cars. You cannot push the pusher. It's a huge saying in iRacing. It is very much a real thing. You're going to upset the car too much in front of you. So that is something that they have to be mindful of. And these guys are doing a great job. But remember, lap 15, that is going to be the first stage. A caution will come out, and the top 10 guys will earn bonus points going towards the season. So our first guy across the line, he's going to get 10 points, while the guy in 10th, he's going to get 1.
Yeah, I really think that kind of all goes back to really people watching what they're doing, not getting aggressive. It's not that time. It is way too early. We're only coming to lap 8 of 90 here for this opening race of Season 4 for the Shake and Bake iRacing Xfinity Series. These cars are very, very light. They get squirrely very easy. They used to compare the Cup cars to tanks. They can take a little bit of a beating. Things, not so much. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time on pit road having to repair these cars. Again, no fast repair in Season 4.
Absolutely. David, I want to give you a shout out. What's up? Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. Let me know your favorite driver, your favorite team. I don't care what it is. Let us know. I know you guys have got to be enjoying this race. The Xfinity cars out here. Jurgensmeyer still leading the field, and as soon as I say that, Steven gets a nose out there, but these guys are doing an incredible job. My concern, Pete, is after you have that stage caution, how are they going to be coming back to racing? Are they going to be a little bit more aggressive? We're going to see how they handle that.
I think everybody's going to complete that dance down pit road, get to their stop, and off pit road, and it's just going to be a splash and go. I don't believe everybody's going to take any tires or anything like that. Yeah, the running order may shuffle a little bit based on how people got on and off the pit road, but that's going to be about it. It'll be interesting to see how these dance partners, so to speak, fare after the stage 1 break.
On board with Brendan Book, and he's sitting P14, so we're looking back at the last part of the field here. We have Jordan McGraw below him, and it looks like Riley behind him, so a lot of people here. You can see Joseph Turley to his inside diagonally in that number 97. Jordan McGraw right behind him. So these guys still moving, giving each other a lot of space. No one wants to have a broken car this early in the race, so everyone pretty much taking it easy so far.
It's interesting as I go through the running order, the top 5 drivers, Steve Maggio, Jurgensmeyer, Anasagak, Flitcroft, and Falliker, they're all up multiple spots. Meanwhile, you've got some right behind them that have dropped as much as 4 or 7 or 5 spots all the way back to Joe Turley. So it's we got a whole lot of movers already, and we got some that are falling back. Are some falling back just to kind of preserve their car? They don't want to be in that proverbial mix. As we watch the 61 of Micah Aller, he's going to go ahead and take it 3 wide right around P number 10.
Yeah, you know what? He's one of the biggest movers, if not the biggest mover, at gaining 15 spots up to number 9. But yeah, we saw him going through the middle earlier on, and he's got his teammate directly below in that 79 car, and a lot of wiggling going up front. But Micah, he knows how to make those moves. He can be very aggressive. So these guys are going to have to watch out for him because he can sneak up to the front very quickly.
And he gave the 67 of Matt Gale a big old shot right ahead of Matt. You see the 42 of Brody Falliker. Brody Falliker ran the number 1 during the Next Gen series, and he was literally a guy that can win on any given week. He was a favorite among Team FIWB. It'll be interesting to see how he fares this season.
Absolutely. I think he's going to do good, and we're still hunting for that win. I think it's going to happen. I want to know from him, though, how he feels about these cars. I don't remember if he's told me, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting season to see how some of these guys handle a new car.
So right now, Jurgensmeyer and Maggio still leading, working lap 12, coming to lap 13. Do these guys feel any, or I guess I gotta kind of wonder if these guys feel any pressure for those stage points, knowing that at the end, where this season we do have a playoff series back again. Are they ready to challenge those stage points each and every race, or are they going to take them as they come to make sure that they're there at the end? Big picture racing. Caution number 1 flying.
Caution number 1. I saw a lot of guys, going off track and coming back on. So let's see if we can find out what happened here.
Looks like Austin Mitty might have something to say about this yellow.
We'll go back, and you see a guy flying through the grass up here, the 22 behind. Oh, he gets hit by a car who just blanks out. Man, I don't know if you saw what I saw, Pete, but that is brutal. Heartbroken for Austin Mitty if he didn't see that one coming. That is heartbreaking.
Yeah, that car is absolutely destroyed. Very, very unfortunate, and yeah, nothing he could do. As you said, car bounced off the inside wall, completely blinking out, came back up. There was nothing he could do about that at all.
Do you know who that car was? I couldn't even tell. They were blanked out.
I'm gonna think that was Joe Turley, possibly.
Yeah. Really unfortunate. You see Joe Turley, he is out in pit lane, so I gotta say that's probably who that was, but that will be the stage, Pete. Lap 14, so our top 10 drivers will receive those bonus points, and as you were mentioning, that's gonna be huge for points. I mean, you want a nice padding, so anything that you can get will for sure help you out, especially as we do have playoffs added in. It's definitely going to be something that these drivers are going to look to be a little bit more aggressive to try to race for.
Absolutely. Everybody coming through NASCAR turns 3 and 4. Pace lights are on for the first time this season. And yeah, with the stage, I would imagine everybody would come on down, grab fuel only, and come on back out. Or are they going to stay out? Kind of interesting.
You know, you can. The tire wear is not exactly huge here. You can make it on fuel. So I'm kind of not surprised. But you see we have a couple of takers out for pit road here.
Yeah, even one inside the top 5 decided to come on down. That was going to be Justin Aniscock. Looks like Christopher Karch also went down. And then several from the back. Jose Ruiz, Luke Allen, Jeremy Kramer, John Honeycutt, Jarrett Cardwell, and many, many more.
Yeah, you know, if you're in the back, you have nothing left to lose. You might as well go in, get those fresh tires, fill it up with a little bit of fuel, and come right back out.
Now, Eliza, when these guys come on out, the cars are going to be a little bit heavier, so they're going to have a little bit more weight to them. I'm watching pit times, like Justin Aniscock, he had a 15:13 time. Meanwhile, Jose Ruiz with just about a 7-second flat. Chris Karch, 10:42, 9 seconds for John Honeycutt, and 8 for Jeremy Kramer. A couple other guys into double digits. So differing strategies, deciding to stay on a little bit longer, maybe take 4, really try to charge ahead in this second stage.
Absolutely. You know, you don't need to take both each and every time, that's for sure. It just depends on what kind of strategy. I can't say there's a right or a wrong answer. As long as you keep track of how many tires you're using, you can take just left sides or right sides, I suppose, if you want. See what they do.
Well, I mean, some of these drivers, they were talking about the balance of these Xfinity cars, and again, very, very different from the first 3 seasons of Shake and Bake. So this is their first real test with everybody out there on track, and maybe they don't want to shake things up just yet. Just try to keep the car as stable as possible when they have somebody pushing them right up from under and trying to charge forward.
Yeah, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, though, he and Steven Maggio are getting some nice camera time out here leading the field quite a bit in this first stage. So we'll see what they do in the second. But, man, congratulations to them getting some nice bonus points out there. Jonathan gonna lead us back to green. Steven in second. We have Tom Flitcroft in third, who won the last 2 Daytonas. So we'll see what he does here tonight, but he's sitting P3. We have Brody Falliker in fourth, and Jeff No, he's gonna round out the top 5.
Yeah, Matt Gale all the way from the UK sitting P6. Andrew Wisdom, the season champion from the last 2 seasons, seasons 2 and 3. James Holzer was the only other one to win a championship here in Shake and Bake. That was season number 1. Then you got Mike Allard in 8th, Cody Kalinka in 9th, and Brian McCann down 5 spots right now to round out the top 10. Eliza, everybody's getting all racked and stacked back up. Any worries about this restart?
A little nervous about it. We're going to see more aggression, but maybe they'll surprise me. They had a great start in stage 1, so I'm hoping that we can do the same here. And I'm a little concerned about Luke Allen. I saw him jump to pits, not exactly sure what happened to him, but once we get going, I'll take a look over and see if I can find out what happened.
Yeah, it looks like Luke Allen, Joe Turley, and Austin Mitty are all on pit road. I'm not quite sure if maybe they somehow got a little collected. I'm not 100% sure, but they've been on pit road for several minutes now, 3, 4, and 5 seconds respectively. But again, lights atop the pace car are out. These guys getting set yet again. Again, it's going to be the 00 of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer with Steven Maggio to his outside, Brody Falliker and Tom Flitcroft, row number 2, Matt Gale and Jeff No, row number 3.
Guys getting ready. You can see that 42 right on the back bumper of the 51. So these guys getting close up. And I do got to give a shout out to Thomas Harmon, who is part of race control, along with Brian Pizzakimi. I mean, he's got so many different apps helping these guys out here tonight with cautions and keeping track of everyone. Green. So huge thank you to these guys. And we're back to green. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer getting a great start. I can tell you don't want to get too good of a start because you're going to be what I call a sitting duck. But he's not out far enough to become that just yet.
Yeah, you watch the 8 go up track just a little bit, trying to side draft off the 51, trying to pull him back. Flitcroft going to give that 00 a big old shot going into the corner, all the way into and off. They're going to be side by side down the backstretch.
On board with Tom Flitcroft. Let's take a look. You can see him pushing Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and he is holding a steady wheel. Probably going to back off a little bit as we head into the corner, but no, he really is not. He is trying to keep that momentum up, and you're going to see Jonathan get a little wiggly because of it.
Yeah, the 8 got a big old shot as well from the 14 of Jeff No. Down on the line, 8 trying to pinch him down.
Wow, take a look at this. Such tight racing. We have the 8 machine out to the front, leading this field right now. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer going to go up to his side. A little bit of side drafting was going on just for a second. These guys are off and running, still side by side, but take a look at the movement throughout the field, Pete.
Absolutely. Roles reversed right now between the 8 and the 51. Last lap, the 51 was being pushed by the 8. Now the 8 is Flitcroft. He dove on up. Jeff No getting a little squirrely down on the apron.
That's going to cause some chaos. Jeff No, I can tell you. Once it gets wiggly, it is extremely hard to save out here. So, yeah, great job for these guys. I don't see really anyone affected, but let's take a look. We see Andrew Sanford. He gets a tap. That has nothing to do about what happened in front of him, but a lot of guys woeing it down to try to stay clear of what's happening. Looks like Jose Ruiz involved, the 88 involved. Not too much carnage, hopefully.
No, I see a whole lot of tire smoke from people locking them up. I think the worst was the 88 or maybe the 23 of Jose Ruiz ending up going around, but no real big issues.
I don't think that was anything crazy, Pete, but you have tight racing like that. And like I said, these cars are pretty loose here at Daytona, more loose than what you would expect. So I think that's what we saw there.
All right, so does everybody stay out here, Eliza? Or if you got some damage, even if it's just minor, do you feel you might have to come on down just to make sure that you're able to keep up with the draft, or being able to keep up tucked up under the guy in front of you to be able to stay right there with the rest of the field?
Yeah, I mean, if your drafting is not affected, of course, you're probably going to stay out if you have the fresh tires and fuel's okay, even if you stayed out the last stage. We're not far enough into it to make a huge difference, I would expect. But if your drafting is affected, you absolutely have to go in, because that will destroy any chance that you have to remain in that group.
Well, Double O and the A to Tom Flitcroft, they don't have to worry about much right now at all. Flitcroft has been up there. And you talked about Flitcroft winning Daytona 2 of the last 3 seasons. Well, I think it was last year. He won every single plate track except Talladega. So this man knows how to get it done. So I don't blame you at all for picking him whatsoever. The guy that I talked about, though, Mike Papa Bear Campbell, sitting back there in P13. At one point, he was running right around 5th or 6th, up on the high side. So I think he got up there, maybe didn't like what he saw, dropped back just a little bit. I still have hopes for that 71 Ford.
You know, it's a smart move. You want to be at least in the back of the front pack, just a little off. In case there is chaos, you can slow it down and avoid everything. Being up front, it is very risky. Again, it's going to be a little different because there are stage points on the line here. So some of these guys will be more aggressive. I think we might see a little more cautions due to simply that fact. We'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good. Just a couple of issues with handling maybe, or just getting the left sides down below the yellow line. But other than that, no. Well, the one guy blinking kind of destroyed a car or two. But other than that, I think for the most part, everybody dealt with Jeff Noe having to check up in order to rein that car back in pretty well. We're not talking about people recovering from the big one this early in the race, so that's a really good thing.
Absolutely. I do want to say, though, that these guys, they are definitely doing a great job. You see Christopher Karch, he just keeps blinking in and out, though. Really unfortunate to see, but Jonathan, he is so consistent out here. He's doing a great job, and I'm super impressed with what I'm seeing so far. I'm kind of curious, are we going to see a new winner here at Daytona, considering Thomas? He's got a great track record here. Is he going to have to move over to let someone else win? We'll have to find out. But Stratus, I see you out there. I hope you're doing well and healing well. He says it's wearing off, so pain is starting to get worse. I don't want to hear that. Go take some pain meds.
Usually the guy that works with Tom Flitcroft, talking about the 5 of Brendan Book. Brendan right now is back in P14 as everybody's getting all racked and stacked back up. Brendan and Tom Flitcroft usually work very, very well together. It'd be interesting to see if the 5 can get on up there to the back bumper of the 8, and if Tom Flitcroft repays the favor from all the great teamwork that they had going on last season.
Yeah, they had so much great teamwork, and it's really awesome to see how these guys work together, communicate, and how they make it up to the front. So Jonathan, Tom Flitcroft, Steven Maggio, Brody Falliker, he's another one up here. He's gained 6 spots to sit P4 currently. Matthew Gale. So a lot of these guys doing a great job up front. Again, we do have another stage coming up, though, Pete, and not too many laps.
Big shout out to Matt Gale sitting there in P7. The guy's racing from over in the UK 5 hours ahead. So we're talking, what is it, almost 9 o'clock our time? It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning his time. You want to talk about being a die-hard racer? I absolutely appreciate that guy for, really digging deep and staying awake to be able to race with us this evening.
Absolutely. It's so great to see him out there, and I enjoy talking to him when I get a chance to. So I want to see him do well tonight. I would love it. There's so many people that I would love to see get a win tonight. So you're going to hear me say that a lot. But yeah, I hope they do well. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a new season. Everybody's got high hopes.
Right? That's exactly what comes with a new season. So hopefully it doesn't get squashed too early.
Green flag and the 00 and the 51. That restart almost looked very, very orchestrated. Well, the 42 shoved the 8. 8 finds a hole on the bottom, but does he go back up high? Yes, he does. We are going to be back double wide going through turns 1 and 2.
These two are a new team entry. It's going to be for GOAT Incorporated for Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Steven Maggio. So whatever they're doing to work together, they're doing a hell of a job, and I think they need to continue to stay on that strategy and keep everyone else behind them.
Absolutely, 67 of Matt Gale pulling on up behind that double O. So right now, the 51 and double O, they are controlling both lines. Can you make it 3 wide at Daytona? Absolutely, you can. Is it more sketchy than it is at Talladega?
Ooh.
Absolutely, it is. 67 and 8 make a little bit of contact. 8 has to go wide. That's going to force them 3 wide for about P5.
Incredible save for these guys to hold on to that. And I was just about to say, Pete, right before that, these guys are so tight together. Something's got to give, and it almost did, but they held on to it. Now's the time where you need to give a little bit of spacing, wait till it's closer to that stage, and then make some magic happen. We see a couple of guys dropping back a little bit, saying, you know what? It's not worth my car getting totaled. Let's drop back and wait for the stage to come.
Well, Tom Flitcroft had to drop back, and it wasn't by choice, I can promise you that. But he was able to find a gap right around P9, just in front of the 86 of Riley Rosenbrook. So we got the same 2 up top. Oh, I'm sorry, same 2 leading right now, but we got brand new guys sitting there.
Trying to see who that was that dropped back, but yeah, we see a couple of guys just taking a little easy here. That's going to be the 12 car that dropped back pretty far. So he just wants to hang out in the back. That's going to be Dane Cruz, and let these guys do whatever they need to do and say, hey, I don't want any part of that. We'll come back later.
Well, I was wondering when the 5 and the 8 were going to find themselves. There they are in that middle line. They are 3 runs, about 2 or 3 rows. 8, 5, 63, 4, 39, and the 71 of Mike Campbell right in front of the 50 of John Honeycutt, as well as the 45 of that Dane Cruz guy that you were just talking about.
That is a wiggly line. It's so difficult to try to keep this thing smooth. You can see we have an issue. 246 around 10th spot. We're now 3 wide right where that is. And we're going to put Tom Flitcroft right in the sucker hole. Not where you want to be. And Daytona is not as wide as it looks. So Thomas, you know he is holding on really tight right now.
Oh, is he ever? I see a whole lot of wiggling. You can imagine that those spotters are going crazy. Up high, down low, up high, down low, 3 wide. You're in the middle, stay low. I mean, holy cow. As here comes the new guy that we haven't talked about just yet. Talking about the 34 of Jordan McGraw, carving his way to P4 on the bottom.
Yeah, P4 on the bottom. FTR moving up just a little bit out here. So doing a great job. But man, oh man, I wish I had a heart monitor on some of these guys to see what the heart rate is up to, because this looks intense.
Absolutely, we're going to take it 3 wide for P1. The one way up high, talking about Andrew Wisdom. The champ has come to race.
Here he goes. 2 lanes filled with 3 wide. These guys are on top of each other. Andrew Wisdom up high and nose out. And then we're going to have that 51 machine going to be in second. And then it looks like Justin Anasogak is right there in third. But man, oh man, what a wild, wild race. These guys doing a great job. But take a look. Yeah, I heard some chaos. And that front pack got away. And it looks like we have some issues in the field.
Yeah, possibly Jeff No and Mike Campbell are going to have a little bit of something to say about this 3rd yellow flag that's going to wave.
See if we can find out what happened here. I'm going to pause it, try to go back to Honeycutt. Yeah, looks like he might be involved. Rewind it a little bit. You can see the chaos happened up top. I want to go back and try to see what's going on here. 42, so we're going to bring it back to that 42. Find out where it went wrong. That's going to be Brody Falliker.
Yeah, and it looks like the 5 was involved, the 9, the 71, the oh my God, so many cars that were up front. I mean, Jeff No started outside pole this evening, and he's involved in this as well.
Man, so sorry to see that. Just nowhere for Brendan to go. He's like a sardine getting canned up there, but the 9 car involved. A lot of drivers. That might be the big one here.
It's still early to tell, but right now that's definitely going to tear up a lot of really good cars. 63, the 9. It looks like there were a few that were in the back, including the 40 we were talking about earlier. Saw the 50 of John Honeycutt trying to pull back up. It looks like the entire field coming down pit road, and you might as well.
Yeah, being this close to stage, this might be the stage. And so far, we've ended both stages under a different caution than intended. But hey, I guess, it works out in the end. Unfortunately, not for the drivers affected, but so many drivers in pit lane, except Justin in that 4 machine, who looks like he's going to go up to that first spot.
Yeah, Justin Anscock, he was on pit road lap 14, so he took that chance. He was sitting P3 at the time, if my memory serves me right, and came back out where everybody else just came in on lap 27. So he was ready to go, ready to take some points away. Brian McCann came off P number 2 up 3 spots. Cody Kalinka started this race third. He's going to come out third. Dane Cruz is going to be 4th, up 22 spots, and Andrew Wisdom down 4 to P5.
Yeah, how about Dane Cruz? That's an impressive run for him so far, up 22 spots. So let's hope that he can continue that momentum. And I can tell you, David, you did hear Wisdom's name, and Big Papa Bear says 40 minutes of damage. His night is done, along with Combat Beast, who is Connor Cunningham. He says a 3 car is done for the night. So unfortunate to see. Man, Daytona, you need a lot of luck. And unfortunately for some of these drivers just involved in the chaos, I hate to see it.
Yeah, Eliza, in all the years, streaming and broadcasting races for various leagues, clubs, and communities around iRacing and console, you see wrecks in the front, you see them in the middle, you see them in the back. Sometimes you see them on pit road or getting off of pit road. It all depends. They can literally happen anywhere at plate tracks, Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. I mean, there really is no safe place on track. A little bit further in the back, always a little bit higher of a chance, but you really can be anywhere in the running order and have an issue.
Yeah, I say the safest place is going to be the booth, Pete. It is safest out here, but man, oh man, these guys put on a heck of a show so far tonight. 3 wide, and the top guys, I'm kind of curious if they were going to be able to get away a little bit if it weren't for the chaos that ensued. It looked like mid to the back part of the field. It's just unfortunate to see the first race here. Some of those, I'm kind of curious, did they get any points for the stages, which would definitely help them out?
Yeah, it would definitely help him out. I mean, I know that Brian McCann in the 6 right now, sitting P2, he is just a part-timer, so points really don't mean a whole lot. I think it was more about track position. He didn't want to be the one to possibly connect to a back bumper the wrong way and see someone spin out. But he's been pretty steady in that Camaro, and to his outside, Justin Anscock, who is leading the race right now in that number 4 Toyota, up 7 spots. Justin's been doing a great job really holding a line. He was making big movement up on that high side, pushing the one of Andrew Wisdom and bringing the rest of that line just before that caution flew.
Absolutely. Well, we have 2 stages completed here. So I can't say that. We have 1 stage complete here. And then we have the next one. So the only thing we have left to do is the 60 laps, Pete. We're on to stage 3, and we'll see how these guys maneuver around. I think that is going to settle down a little bit. You have 60 laps. This is where, if they don't have a caution, we're going to see these guys have to come in for fuel and tires. So if that's me out there, I'm thinking let's settle in and not get too crazy.
All right, well, pace car's off. We're about to find if that comes true. The 4, the 6, the 79, and the 45, hard on that loud pedal. Let's go racing.
Here we go. Brian McCann out front with Justin in that 4 machine, doing a great job leading the field. We're going to see what they've got, but man, oh man, take a look at how tight this is already. You would think that we were going for the win, but you can see him backing off a little bit as we are in the corner. You don't want to push it too much. You can see him backing off, and that might cause a little accordion effect going through, but these guys are doing well.
Andrew Wisdom tight on the back bumper of Cody Kalinka right in front. That high side, though, getting a little bit of momentum. The Ford getting one whale of a push from the 45 of Dane Cruz, and we're away still side by side as we come to lap 31 this time on to stage number 3. Eliza, this is where max points pay out.
Absolutely. We're going to see our season 4 first winner here of the season. We'll see who it is. Can Thomas Flitcroft come back up here to get the win? We have 60 laps to find out, but Justin is up here for the moment. Brian McCann leading the field currently. Cody Kalinka, Dane Cruz. Anything can happen. Anyone can win. That's the beauty of Daytona.
Oh yeah, Daytona is absolutely amazing. I love opening up the season at this track. It's like religion almost. I mean, some other series, they'll open it up at like a Michigan or maybe Charlotte or something like that. You just don't mess with tradition. Keep it as is. This is where it belongs, and I'm glad that Shake and Bake is opening up season 4 right here at the World Center of Racing.
I can't imagine opening it anywhere else, Pete, for sure. I mean, you got to stick with tradition for this. I can't imagine breaking that. But we are on board with Steven Maggio, who led quite a portion of this race so far, and he sits currently P7. Doing a great job up 2 spots from where he started. He's got that 00 machine of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer up above, and that's going to be his teammate for GOAT Incorporated.
I will have to see. I mean, before the at the end of stage 2, just before that caution flew, we started to see a whole lot of buildup on that high side. Are we going to see that again as the laps unfold? Right now, they're staying pretty cool, calm, and collected, just running side by side. No real big movements, nobody charging up that high side. But it seems like in the long run, the high side is where you want to be. Does the bottom line get stalled out again? And will we see a third line form as this rolls on, coming to lap 34 of 90, getting closer and closer to that halfway? But Eliza, whole lot of racing left to go.
Yeah, you can see the 63 coming on out, and he's going to be joining the field once these guys are already on it. So that's going to be an interesting mixture. You can see him back there, but man, these guys are absolutely on it. You can see Cody Kalinka really pushing that 6 car, trying to keep him up there. That's going to be rookie Brian McCann, but I can assure you, he is no rookie. He's got an I rating of 5,001. Guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, Brian McCann, he's actually a multi-time champ in other series in all different forms of vehicles, whether it's next gen, the trucks, the Xfinity, whatever it is. This man absolutely knows how to pilot just about everything, and I'm glad that he's decided to make the jump over to the Shake and Bake iRacing Xfinity series. Even if it is only part-time, he brings a lot of skill to the series.
I love what he says. When in doubt, go faster.
Yep.
He is definitely doing that here. Great to see him out here. Andrew Wisdom, he's going to be up to P5. Doing a great job out there. We got Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. He's going to move up a spot to P5 from Andrew Wisdom, and take a look. So incredibly close. I've said it once. I'll say it again. You could be in 10th, sitting right behind the leaders. I mean, that's just how close this racing is. Anything can happen, and when it does, it's usually big here at Daytona.
Absolutely. You know, Eliza, it looks like these cars, they're just in one long line, going around high side, low side, and that's all they're doing. They're just flat out. But that is the furthest from the truth. These guys are so much on and off the throttle, depending on where they are. The leaders, yeah, they're just flat out. They're just waiting for that next push to come up from behind and shove them down the down the straightaways as much as they can. Everybody else, though, it really is a foot dance. They're on and off the throttle. They're watching where they're going. They're watching the car ahead. They're watching the cars behind them just a little bit as well. Maybe also able to save a little bit of fuel. This is very much anything but a stale race. There's a whole lot going on inside these vehicles.
Oh, there absolutely is. And we're on board with Jordan McGraw, and you can see right ahead of him, he's got Jimmy Cocker in front of him, and you saw him get real wiggly just a second ago, and Jordan McGraw had to back off pretty quickly in order to not have anything happen. I mean, you just have to be on it constantly. And you can see that 50 car, and that's going to be John Honeycutt, his teammate, going up really high. I'm not sure whether it's just trying to keep that car off the car in front of him, or a little bit of side draft from his teammate.
Yeah, John Honeycutt down on the bottom, right behind. I want to say that is the 26 or the 31 of Chuck Cody. It is a 26. There we go.
Oh,
we got
huge problems. Wow, if that last one wasn't a big one, this one is definitely it. Absolutely insane. I want to take a look at what happened here. Not quite sure, but let's see if we can find out.
Oh boy, I mean, that was the 42, the 50, 34. That is the 92 of Kevin Dallatore, and so many more hard shots to that outside wall. Oh,
on board with the 42. You know, I've seen him involved in a couple of things. We see the 39. Let's back this up a little bit.
That 42, that's an abrupt stop.
What I'm seeing here is that 39 is getting pushed, getting his car really, really upset. He dives down low from kind of losing it right there, and that just causes a huge pile up. A lot of drivers involved, including the 34 who we were on board with. Again, just so unfortunate, and we're going to see a lot of guys on pit road from this one.
Yeah, it looks like the one guy that kind of didn't get too badly hurt, but definitely has some damage on the right rear from some contact was the 8 of Tom Flickcroft. He was able to save it on that yellow line, but everybody behind him, it was just a total implosion.
Trying to find out who that was, but we saw a guy next to Jordan McGraw who absolutely missed pit lane. So let's see. It could in fact have been Jordan McGraw, because I don't see that he made it on there. You can see his wheels. I don't know how he's even steering, so it's quite possible that it was him that had that issue.
Yeah, wasn't able to make that left turn towards pit road. Traditional Jordan McGraw machines, either Sega or Nintendo or something of the sort for Team FTR. It's not the way that Jordan McGraw would have wanted to open season 4 at all.
Most drivers in pit lane, except for about the 4 top guys, I'll say. And then we have Riley Rosenbrook, who's going to stay out, but he's not looking too solid himself. You can see a lot of damage on that left front. Not sure about the right, but I assume we're going to see him come in.
Yeah, it looks like Dane Cruz, Jonathan Juergensmeyer, and Jeremy Kramer all decided to stay out. Christopher Karch looks like he's got a lot of damage to the back end of his number 40 Pepsi machine. He's missing the whole back deck lid, but he actually still has his bumper. That's going to make that car feel more like a parachute than anything else. Brian McCann on and off pit road. He's the first of the leaders that went down pit road. He's going to come out in P at number 5.
Man, I was not expecting to see this. Lap 39 of 90, still a lot of racing left, but will we have a lot of cars left, Pete? That's the question here. A lot of damaged cars in pit lane, and it goes back from 13th on. Absolutely crazy to see that.
Yeah, that's what happens when it's right around mid-pack and everybody has, nowhere to go. These cars, just like the Xfinity, just like the next gen or the trucks, they don't stop on a dime. You can slam on those brakes, or you could try to, do a little bit of maneuvering to work your way through while, slowing and woeing up those vehicles. But these vehicles, they take a long time to stop. You think about trying to pit at Talladega or Daytona when you're coming off turn 4 at full speed in these packs. It's not easy. There's a whole lot of sliding. The tires happen, and when that's happening, they don't steer the right way. These things can be hard to handle, not only under full speed, but also while braking.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's just so many different facets to look at. You got to pay attention to what's on your left, your right, your front, your back. If you slow down too much, is the guy behind you going to hit you? So you have to be sure to look out for that. And if you're not going to slow down enough for the guy in front of you, you're going to hit him. So just so many factors that need to be, looked at in order to stay out of trouble. And that's extremely hard to do here at Daytona or any super speedway for that matter.
Right.
or a larger track. So this is one of these things where you're going to see those cautions. You see it in real life, and you know the big one's going to happen, especially when you get to the final part of the race. And we're not even there yet, Pete.
No, we're just about ready to get to lap 45, which would be halfway. But Eliza, there's no more stages, no more breaks. From here on out, it is pure racing all the way to the checkers. It'll be interesting to see who at the end is able to hold on to those pushes, who's able to give those pushes, and who at the end sees the first round of checkers for themselves.
Absolutely. I want to give a shout out to John Honeycutt. He was telling me a little story about his paint scheme tonight. In that 50 machine, he said he did a drawing. He used to draw a car for his dad back in the day when he was a lot younger, and he drew that 50 car, and that was always the design he drew up, and he tried to make it on his computer and brought that thing to life, brought it here tonight to the track. So great to see it out there. He did a great job.
John Honeycutt does amazing work with anything that he puts his mind to. Absolutely love the Nintendo. The Mario looks great. It'll be interesting to see how John Honeycutt fares for the rest of the evening. But yeah, that definitely strikes up those nostalgia chords for you.
Absolutely. Well, how about Dane Cruz? 25 spots up from where he started, and not too further down is going to be Jeremy Kramer, up 19 spots. So we have a lot of movers out there as we head back to green.
Yeah, green flag's backed out. 45. First on the loud pedal, double O of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on the outside. You got the 6 of Brian McCann, Jeremy Kramer, and Matt Gale. Matt Gale staying inside the top 5 ever since we went green. Again, up 7 spots. If we're looking for the biggest mover so far, Eliza, you just mentioned him, the one and only Dane Cruz.
Yeah, he's doing a great job out there, currently sitting P2, so I'm liking where he is. I get a little nervous on that high side. That is a difficult place to be, at least for me. Dane is on that inside. That's the position I like to be, but Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, he's been so consistent tonight. He's got Brian McCann directly behind him, pushing him, trying to get that momentum. So he's got a great guy behind him, giving him that support and trying to make up any position that he can and hold that lead.
The 45 did a little bit of side draft on that 6, pulled him back. Meanwhile, 45 is going to rocket ahead with almost no help from behind. Now he's going to gather up 26. 26 is going to get a big pull. But look at that 45 all by himself.
How about that? That's crazy. We'll see what kind of runs these guys can get, but have you noticed if there is a stronger lane? Normally you would see the high side a little bit stronger here depending on what car you run. Have you noticed that? Because I haven't, Pete.
It wasn't until we got into that long run at the end of stage 2 where that high line really showed itself. Or it might have just been because once you get 3 wide, you've automatically got a little bit of that side draft effect on the middle and the bottom line, and that high side, they're kind of stuck. They're having to watch to make sure that they don't tag that wall, and also got to watch the cars to the inside, that they're not having to react to the cars that are way on the bottom. So this whole thing is just a great big dance. I think it was Dale Jr., maybe Dale Sr., somebody said plate racing is like a fast game of chess. It's all about putting yourself in the right place at the right time and being able to say, hey, checkmate, when it's all said and done.
Oh, that's so incredibly true. But Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I mean, he's got a lot of space between him and that 6 machine. So I'm pretty impressed with the run that he's getting out there. So that high side may definitely be a little bit stronger than an inside. And it's definitely common to see that throughout these super speedways. It's going to be no different here. But these guys using that momentum. And I'll tell you what, Pete, I've found in in a lot of the cars that you don't have to actually push the car in front of you. You can use that air to not only save your car, but in order to use that air to push that car in front of you and get that momentum that way.
Well, I tell you what, I'm almost wondering if there's not something going on with the 26 Jeremy Kramer. I don't know if he's not trying to get on up to Dane Cruz right now, or what the case may be as they come across the lap car of the 93 Pepsi machine. I believe it's going to be Mr.
Joe
Berg. If I'm not,
Berg, yeah.
Yep, there we go. All right, so but that 26 has not been able to get to the back bumper of the 45 at all. Now you got the floor of Justin Escott back there. That might help a little, but that 26, I don't know if he's got some damage or not, but or maybe he's just practicing what you were just talking about, not having to be on the back bumper of the 45, just using a little bit of that air to push him along.
Yeah, very possible. I mean, he very well could be using that air. I mean, he's holding it up there quite well, not doing a bad job whatsoever. He's got Justin right behind him, who we are on board with, and you can see him getting a little bit of momentum going into that next corner. So he's doing a great job, and he's taking care of that machine.
Everybody right now definitely doing the best they can to take care of their machines. It looks like everybody back to Kevin Dalator sitting P18, up 16 spots, is within 1.5 seconds of the leader. Everybody else from Riley Rosenbrook, Steve Maggio, Chuck Cody, Evan Knopp, and more, 20-plus seconds behind this main pack. Those guys have to hope for some kind of a caution to fly in order to get back up into this mix and have a great chance, if not the win, at least a great points night.
You can see a lot of wiggling going on up front, but we have Jonathan Jurgensmeyer still going side by side with Dane Cruz, doing a fantastic job. But I can tell you that's going to wear on these drivers as this race goes on. You make one mistake, and we've found out already a couple of times that it's going to affect not only yourself, but everyone else who's around you. And if that happens out front, we're in for some chaos. But these guys are doing great. And Jonathan, I don't know how he's keeping that lead out there, and there's no contact, just using that air to push that machine, and off he goes around. Dane Cruz is going to get a little bit of a lead out there, and we'll see if he can get a couple of more laps led.
Yeah, Brian McCann, that number 6, that all black or matte black number 6, no much of anything on that Camaro. And I was going to mention something about Jonathan Jurgensmeyer staying up in that high side. Well, here he is, running high, running low, running high, decides to stay high this time, not go down in front of the 45. He's been very, very strong up there. He might just be waiting for that long run, Eliza, before he decides to pick which line he wants to be in. But right now, that double O showing to be very, very strong.
Yeah, you know, his teammate is out here in 20th spot. He's right next to Chuck Cody. They're on their own little island, so he has no teammate help available. Dane Cruz also, he's going to be out front by himself. That's a lonely place to be if you need some help at the end of the race, but it's still early on. Anything can happen, but they are looking very comfy in their position and doing a great job. I think they're starting to settle in and just saying, hey, it's a long stage. Let's not make anything crazy happen.
You know, I'm going back to the 61 of Micah Allard. He's got Cody Kalinka right now to his outside. I would have thought maybe by now, and I'm not, if he's listening, this isn't a challenge to him whatsoever. Usually right by now, the 61, he's had enough of just riding, and he's tried to do something with it. He's got Thompson up to his outside. Of course, the 5 of Brendan Book, and just as I say that, what's the 61 do? Decide to desert the bottom and go on up behind the 8. You also have now the 1 of Andrew Wisdom up there as well. That high side is looking stronger and stronger as we got a new black car at the point.
Yeah, Brian McCann, here he goes out front, and he's, I'm just waiting for him to lead. I mean, he's had such a strong car, found his way up here, gained 4 spots from where he started, so we'll see what happens, man. A little loose going on behind him, and we have a car trying to get on the track with them, so we'll see how they go. But that high side starting to die a little bit as Brian has moved down along with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. So we'll see that high side if they can get that back moving once again.
I'll tell you what, look who's leading that high side. It's Matt Gale from the USA. He's got the 5 of Brendan Book. You also see Tom Whitlock, Micah Allard, and so many other very, very strong cars up there. I it's just going to be a matter of maybe a couple laps with how comfortable these guys are at pushing each other. The guys that have been around for season 1, 2, and 3, they know each other very well. They know their limits, what they're capable of, how comfortable they are taking a shot from behind. They know they can hold a very steady wheel. 67 moving on up to about P3 with the 5 still right behind.
Yeah, Brendan Book doing a hell of a job trying to push him up there. You see the 51 getting out of the way, but that 67, he gained probably 3 to 4 spots just from the backstretch going into the corner. So he's got a lot of support up there. They're doing a fantastic job. We have the 5-8, the 61, the 79, all up there, and they're all part of C Motorsports. They have a lot of support, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah, a whole lot of, I'm sure there's a whole lot going on in their team comms. Right now, the 6 and the 45 able to hold that high side at bay. At what point does the 45 of Dane Cruz say, you know what, I got to go where I see the momentum and bail on the 6 of Brian McCann? Or does Brian McCann, is he maybe looking out that rear view or maybe listening to his spotter when being told that high side is coming? Does he go up and bail on the 45? It seems like so far those two have worked really, really well together.
Yeah, you know what? If I'm Brian, I'm taking a look at my rear view. If I see Dane getting a little anxious and looks like he wants to go out, I'm going to say, hey, Dane, let's make a deal. Let's talk about how we can stay up here as early. Don't try to make some moves yet. We don't want to have any incidents. Maybe go into pit together. But right now, I'm hoping Dane stays with me, and he's looking like he might want to make a move out. If that high side lags back a little bit, I would not be surprised if I see Dane move out and try to make that high side roll.
It could be that, or also the 45's been tucked up right underneath the back end of the 6 for a couple laps now. I might have just had to duck out, get a little bit of fresh air on the nose of that 45. We talked about that very early in the broadcast as well, how these things will overheat within about a lap and a half to 2. He might have just had to cool that motor.
Yeah, you know, it's very true. I said that we would have some of these guys checking out high, checking out low, trying to cool that engine down. But man, we have a lot of things going on. We have a couple of guys that are laps down just on that high side, and these guys seem to be getting through just fine. That's making for an interesting ride for these guys as they have to go 3 wide.
I'll tell you what, they went 3 wide, and they might have thought better of it. Either that or there might have been a slow car kind of bogging them down. But new car up on the outside, got the 5 of Brendan Book. And I mentioned it earlier, Eliza, how long was it going to be before the 5 and the 8 found each other? The 5 all about pushing the 8 or helping the 8 with a couple of his wins last season. Well, now Brendan Book leading the way on the high side, 8 and the 61 right in tow.
Yeah, you know what? He's been such a strong driver. I've known him back from Xbox days, and he had quite a few championships won on NASCAR and the Xbox days. So great to see him doing well out here. And he is an admin for SnB, helping us run things and making it happen. You can see him going a little bit high, but I think he'll do well out here.
Absolutely. 45 into 6 by virtue of the 5 going a little high. Able to retake that lead, and the 45 is almost clear, just as the 8 of Tom Flitcroft gave that 5 a shot in the back bumper. More and more damaged cars down low below that double yellow line, and they're still 2 by 2 for at least 9 rows.
The top 18 drivers are on the lead lap, and 19 and below are going to be at least a lap down, and that's going to be started by Riley Rosenbrook and Steven Maggio, who we did see leading the field earlier on.
Yeah, Steve Maggio down 11 spots all the way back in P20, and no help in that 51HinderCars.com Toyota. Not used to saying Toyota when we're talking about a Kyle Larson car, but hey, it is what it is. Kevin Knapp, he's also got a whole lot of clear track for himself as well. Sitting 21st, up 8 spots from where he qualified. Jose Ruiz, Christopher Karch, and so many others. Those 2.5 big ones, we'll say, Eliza, they really claimed a lot of drivers. But you know what? A lot of people will take Daytona as, and it shouldn't be, but a little bit of a throwaway race. A lot of people will say the real season starts next week.
Yeah, you hear a lot of guys saying that, but Again, you got stages in the mix. Points are going to be so important. So we're going to see, and we have seen these drivers go for everything that they can, which is why I think we might have ended with these with an earlier caution than expected, trying to go for every point, because 10 points, let's face it, that's a lot of points, and you can use it because if you have a bad race, it's going to help you out in the long run.
Yeah, it really will, and that's why a lot of these drivers, yeah, they got damaged cars. Like Mike Pop Bear Campbell said earlier in chat, he said his car was done 40 minutes of required. I can understand that, but you know, if he was to come back out and somebody else was completely totaled, not able to go anymore, and was able to make up a spot or two, well, guess what? That's a point or two, which could pay dividends later on in the season. It's always important to stick around, get your car fixed, get back out on track, and you never know how many positions you gain from something like that.
Yeah, the race ain't over until the fat lady sings, and I'll tell you
There
what,
you go.
you're gonna see some of these guys that you're saying, why stay out? And as Pete says, it's not over yet. And Big Papa Bear, he says, I will be out in 9 minutes. So he's still hanging out here. And you can get any point that you can muster up here. Some of these drivers are out so many, you know, laps that you can't gain anything. And I think Big Papa Bear is going to be one of them possibly, but you never know.
Yeah, you got to come out and try to get back as many points as you can. When someone is completely destroyed, the motor's blown, we're talking a really long time just to sit there. But you know what? When you got as great of a race to watch as what we've seen this evening for Season 4 opener, you might as well just stick it out, ride it out, get back in your car when you're able to, turn some laps, and be part of the finish, no matter where you may be.
Absolutely. I want to give a huge shout out to Mikey. What's up? Hope you're doing well. Savage, thank you so much for the biddies. I appreciate it. 245. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well tonight. And as Big Papa Bear just said, every point counts. And we're on board with Andrew Wisdom sitting in that one machine. He's P8 at the moment. Take a listen to those tires. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it was squealing a little earlier on, and that just shows how loose these cars get. You hear Andrew getting off the throttle, feathering it just a little bit to kind of hang on to that 61 car, but you don't want to get snug up to it around the corner because it will upset these cars. There's a lot of wiggling going on, Pete.
Yeah, a whole lot of wiggling going on, and I'm really surprised, Eliza. It was about this time, if not a lap or two earlier, when we saw a lot of guys go 3 wide. And so far, we haven't seen that big charge up on the high side. I wonder if a lot of these guys are somewhat shell-shocked and they don't want to get involved in another big one, which takes them out of the running for the first checkers of the season as they go 3 wide, just a little bit behind. The one of Andrew Wisdom got shuffled out of that second line, and he's going to fall all the way back behind the 39 of Jacob Palmer in his Psyops machine.
Yeah, we saw that 3 wide, and it was going to include him and Justin in that 4 machine. Almost big trouble for these guys. They hung on to it, but I'll tell you what, that'll make you nervous for sure. Brian, though, doing a great job. He's still out here leading the field with Dan Cruz behind him. So these guys working together really well. And you can see a little bit of space in between him and Jonathan Juergensmeyer in that 00. So great job getting out here. And we'll see if we start to see a breakaway.
Yeah, the 645 00 of Juergensmeyer, the 79 of Cody Kalinka, the 5 of Brendan Book. There is Justin Anaskok in that number 4 Red Bull machine up on the outside, and it looks like he's got a little bit of help as well. There's the 39. The 1 was able to find a hole 4 back on the high side, but look at that, John Honeycutt and Justin Anaskok trying to work their way back even, at least right now. P3.
I'll tell you what, that high side was looking a little sketchy for a second, making me nervous. You can see a lot of movement. John Honeycutt, he will definitely push you up there, make some moves happen, and Justin held well onto it as he was getting his car a little loose. You can see they've made up a lot of time and positions in doing so.
Tell you this 6 and 45 have really proven to be a great team. Even though they're not actually teammates, these two working together. 45 showing to stay committed to the 6 of Brian McCann. It seems like so far they've been able to hold off most challenges on the high side. Nobody's been able to pull even with them to try to side draft them, slow them down, and have a bigger battle up front.
You know what we haven't talked about is later on in a run, these tires, it's going to be a lot harder to hold on to that bottom. You're going to start seeing these drivers move up the track as their tires start to wear. We'll see just how much it's going to affect them. But when you're on that bottom side, you are going to have to use that steering a little more in order for it to stay down low. And Daytona is a little bit tighter than Talladega, so that could be an issue later on. So far, they're doing a fantastic job, but I think soon, Pete, we might see some guys come in.
It was actually, man, we are absolutely right there in sync, I tell you. And I was going to say that, getting on and off pit road, that can be what completely separates this pack. Who goes down and grabs 2? Who goes down and grabs fuel? Are they taking rights, which take more time than just taking lefts? What's it going to be throughout the field? Who gets on the pit road the fastest? Who carries max speed all the way to their pit stall? Who overshoots their pit? Who doesn't? Green flag, pit stops underway.
Here we go. Jeff No is going to be behind Micah and his teammates. So we have a lot of teammates for SnB Motorsports making their way on in. You know that there's going to be a lot of communication between the guys. They make it and they do it very well. So congrats to them, because I can tell you it's a little bit more scary than it looks, but SnB Motorsports in safely.
Yeah, and I really didn't see anybody locking up the tires, so that's going to save time on and off pit road as well, because they won't have to worry about flat spotting the tires. You see Jeff No pulling into his outside pole pit stall in that TJ's team machine, and the race on the track continues with the 6 and 45 as they come around the lapped car of the 40.
Yeah, they did a great job at coming out together, too. So they're going to have a lot of power and momentum as they are coming back out on track. Just a fantastic job. That is what you call a perfect pit stop. You want to see that each and every time, especially as teammates, because if you don't have all your teammates with you on a track like Daytona, you're going to run into trouble. But these guys, they did a great job.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Brian McCann. He's not necessarily teammates with any of the other drivers that's out here, since he's only part-time. And since he's leading, those that pull off behind him are going to kind of leave him out to dry. How does he get in, or does he maybe move up to that third lane, let everybody go by? That way he has just a little bit of advanced notice to get on the binders, bring it on down pit road. That way he has some kind of crew to work with to stay competitive at the draft speeds.
It's like we have some Dart Motorsports drivers making their way in, and a couple of FIWB drivers. So some of these guys making their way in: Kevin Delator, Andrew Sanford, Francis Hamilton, and we'll see them making their way back out. Jimmy Cocker coming out, Joe Berg. We'll see how they do. But yeah, Brian McCann, he's still leading the field, doing a great job. And if I'm him, man, I'm nervous to come in. Like you said, you're hoping people are going to go with you. You're going to have to do some communication and say, hey, who's going with me? There's not a lot of guys out here. We're going to do better together than if you try to just leave me out to dry and go in yourself. Let's go in together. But then again, Pete, you don't want too many in together, because that can cause chaos heading into pit road and coming back out.
Yeah, you don't want that, but on the flip side, Eliza, the more cars you have go down with you, the stronger draft you have and the higher speeds you carry around this 2.5 mile super speedway to get back up into those packs or catch those cars that might have had a faster stop than you. There's so much that plays into it that you got to really weigh the pros and cons. Right now, the 6, I think he's got to be wondering if he's going to be left out or not, as now the 4 of Justin Anscock pulls up to his outside. This is the first time we've seen anybody get even with the 45 in several laps.
Yeah, this race is not over for these drivers out front. You would think that they have full fuel and enough to last them another 22, 23 laps. Oh, guy getting loose. Can he hold on to it? Man, what a
That's the
save for
champion,
him.
Andrew Wisdom. Of course he can.
Oh, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? Yeah, great job for him to save that. And the sun is starting to set here. We're starting to get a beautiful sky out here. But the racing is going to start picking up.
Actually, that might not have been Andrew Wisdom. No, yeah, it was, because Matt Gale is still up there. Andrew Wisdom and Matt Gale's cars are somewhat similar, but either way, great save by whoever that was. And now Eliza, everybody as they come across the start stripe is single file, 6:45. 004, the 50 of John Honeycutt. And look at this, Jose Ruiz, even though it's not for a position, he's back up in the main pack as well.
Yeah, you know he's going to help his teammate out, John Honeycutt, so great to see. But I'm a little heartbroken for Andrew Wisdom. He's out here by himself, so that is huge trouble for him. Even if he does go in with these drivers, I highly doubt anyone is going to wait for him to catch up. I mean, you can see the distance that he's got already. He's just now heading into the corner as they're heading into the final part of it. So he's going to have to make some magic happen. I don't know what that's going to be. It's got to be something.
Yeah, more pulling off down pit road, including John Honeycutt, Jeremy Kramer, and Jacob Palmer. Andrew Wisdom is going to go with them, and he's trying to carry max speed all the way to the commitment cone. Does just that. You might have to pull just a little bit of strategy here. Say, you know what? I'm already at a deficit coming across that commitment cone. I'm just going to take only the fuel that I need for these remaining 20 laps, get on them, and get out as quick as possible.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if Andrew Wisdom is going to try to take less tires or something to try to come out with him. He's got Jacob directly in front of him, but it's going to be either these guys are going to wait up for him and form a group, which is, man, you don't want to wait up too long, but I think they're close enough where they can make it happen, perhaps. But I was thinking before I was talking earlier that I know that these top 4 to 5 drivers, they have to be going in together simply because they've worked for so long together. I would think they would stay, and it looks like that might be the case, Pete.
Yeah, Matt Gale, he's a little bit further back, kind of in the mix of the 34 of Jordan McGraw, as well as the 71 of Mike Papa Bear Campbell. So he's in the mix of a couple cars that are damaged, but if Mike Campbell's car is not too bad on the front end, they might be able to snip a little bit of that draft and pull them up to get Matt Gale back in the mix. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens between McCann, Cruz, Jurgensmeyer, and Ennisgok. Hey, here they come down pit road.
Yeah, they come down pit lane, and it's going to be 3 wide for a sec. Very, very close, but Jonathan Jurgensmeyer going to beat everyone else in. Brian going to be second. We have the 45 machine already in his pit stall, so great pit stop for these guys, and hopefully they do not miss their stall and they can come out together, because that's exactly what you need and want to happen. But Polish Hammer says he wishes he could be out there, but he bowled a great game. Glad to hear it. And Savage says, wow. Or Evan says, wow, what a save. And he's talking about Andrew Wisdom back a little earlier on. But Justin, he's out. Jonathan is out. We're going to see Brian McCann third in line.
Yeah, Dane Cruz, something must have happened with that 45, because he is way off. I know that one car might have been the 67, or somebody else was rocking the car back and forth, completely missed the pit stall. But Ennisgok, Jurgensmeyer, and McCann, they came in with the lead. They're going to leave with the lead. But Eliza, there is a big gap between those three. You could fit at least 2-3 car lengths in between them. And this train that's coming from behind, it's just going to swallow them straight up.
That would make me a little nervous. You're going to see that in your rear view and say, oh, wow, these guys, there's no way they're going to stay down low. If they do, I will be surprised. It depends on what kind of run they have. We'll see it. We already see it. Looks like Micah peeking out, and here they go, the 79, the 61, the 14, the 5. All C Motorsport drivers right there, and they're going to take over that lead with Cody leading at the helm.
How about Jeff Noe in that TJ's team number 14 up on the high side, involved in an earlier wreck, able to fix that machine up, get back out, and get back competitive right with the rest of those guys. Works his way around the outside to move up to P number 3. Again, started outside pole, so he's got a lot of motor in that.
That That outside definitely has that momentum. They're getting a little squirrely, though. They're going to have to watch that. The inside is going to need some more help, and it looks like John Honeycutt is going to come to the rescue with the group that he is leading on that inside, so we'll see what they can do. Looks like they are tied up right now. We'll see what they can make happen, but that inside starting to get that run now.
Yeah, just before that round of green flag pit stops kicked off, we had 18 cars in the lead lap. Well, right now we've got 14. Then it's a break of about 8.5 seconds after Dane Cruz had a little bit of a mishap getting on or off of pit road or having some kind of an issue with his stop in general. But 14 cars right back in this main pack, Eliza.
You know, this is where things start to get very, very tight. A lot of guys starting to get a little more aggressive. I mean, we're coming to 16 laps to go, 15 now. So things are going to get very tight. You can see Honeycutt and Thomas Flitcroft very, very close together. There's not a lot of wiggle room, and this is when some chaos can happen. You got SnB Motorsports up high and some of them down low. You see Brian McCann still out there. He's sitting P5. It's getting real tight now, Pete.
You know, I gotta give these guys a lot of credit, though. You know, the SnB Motorsports team up on the high side, led right now by Justin Aniscock in that Red Bull number 4. They're not really pinching the guys on the bottom down. They're not doing much of that at all. Yeah, they might try a little bit of side draft on the straightaways, but in the corners, they're not really on them per se. They're giving them just a little bit of room, and because of that, we're not really seeing any big issues, and the race is resuming.
Cody Kalinka still leading the field, and Savage says, got racers out there tonight giving it their best. Props to them. Absolutely. Yep. And this is why we say, don't give up. Anything can happen. I mean, Pete talked about it with Jeff No. He was involved in an earlier incident, and he's out here sitting 7th, and that could change at any moment. He could go to the lead. Just look how tight they are. But Micah, you can see going down low, up high, as he's trying all he can to push that Red Bull machine out front.
Yeah, Justin Aniscock still keeping that machine in the lead. 79 of Cody Kalinka trying to charge with a little bit of a push from the 00 of Juergensmeyer. You got the 6 back there, not making sure not to push the pusher. You got John Honeycutt right behind him. Look at Flitcroft back up on the high side. I mentioned earlier he had a little bit of damage on the right rear. Well, it looks like that's been fixed, so he spent a little bit of time on pit road. But I'm waiting. I think all sights right now are on the 61 of Micah Allard, and when he decides to either take a shot up the middle or go up to the high side, who's going to go with him? 13 laps remaining, coming to 12 this time by. Eliza, I don't know if we're done wrecking for the night.
I don't think we are. I don't think we are. You can see some contact being made between that high and that low side. Very, very close, and that will not be the last contact that we make, and it's going to be one of these that is really going to shake things up, and they're not going to be able to save it. I mean, I have all the faith in these drivers, but I'll tell you what, it's Daytona. It is tight. It is fast. You got the 86 going up high, and these guys are going 3 wide. Anything can happen at any time, but Cody Kalinka and Justin Aniscock, these guys going 2 wide for so long. The momentum is on. The pressure is building. And these guys, they're just going to have to hold on for dear life for another 12 laps.
Absolutely. And everybody's out there on, what probably not a full tank. I would imagine they all took just the amount of fuel that was needed in order to get them to the end to keep the cars somewhat light. But at the same time, you're wondering, if you didn't change tires, didn't change rights or lefts, or you just took fuel only, how does a car respond as the race goes on? Coming to 10 to go next time by, Eliza, this is where all the big moves are about to be made. Business is going to start picking up. These double wide lanes are going to start going 3 wide. Will we see 4? I don't think so. This isn't as wide as Talladega, but you know what? This is the first crown jewel race of the season. Everybody wants to win Daytona, and right now, I would say about the first top 14, they have a real good chance.
Speaking of the top 14, Francis Hamilton at P13, and Odell says the 48 is going to win, and I'll tell you what, it is still Highly possible. We'll see as they come 10 to go, and this is where things start to get very interesting. We're going to jockey for position, and these guys are going to start to make some, I would say, crazy moves as they go to the high side, and that's going to be a caution right there. Not exactly sure what happened, but man, oh man, Kevin Delatorre involved. Let's take a look, see if we can find out what happened here.
Yeah, Kevin Delatorre has got his left side below the yellow line, got the car all kinds of squirrely, and yeah, just brought it around.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe he might have had some help, but no, it's just it's at the point where the car gets squirrely and you try to save it. And there's just, unfortunately, it's hard to save this car when you're going at these speeds. And unfortunately, that's going to take him out and a few others with him.
I'll tell you what, Odell Hogg might just given the 48 a little extra shot in the arm. He was able to pull it low and get on by. No damage to that 48 machine.
Yeah, that's going to put him up to P11, up 19 spots from where he started. So not a bad spot to be in. Cody Kalinka, he's leading the field. Justin, he's going to be in second. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, he's going to be in third. Micah in fourth. Brian McCann sitting in the top 5.
And all right, so Eliza, we're going to get all racked and stacked back up. We're going to, bring them all back together again. Everybody that's a lap or more down, everybody that's on track is going to be right back at it. We're going to have cars that are laps down right in the mix, and we're going to have cars on differing strategies. Oh, this is really about to get interesting, and this is all going to happen with 5-6 laps to go.
It's going to be crazy, and so I got to ask. Okay, first, do you think that any of these drivers are going to go in? I mean, Cody has some teammates to talk him through if they should. What do you think, Pete?
No, I think their beds are made. I think the 79 might try a little bit of a fake here, but I think he pulls back up. Yep, right in front of Anasigak. Looks like the 61 of Allard, though. That's a huge surprise. Comes on down. Looks like the last time he was on pit road was at 8:45, so maybe didn't get enough fuel. We do know, and Eliza, you've been bit by this bug yourself. You have that auto fuel set, and iRacing doesn't quite give you enough. I wonder if maybe Allard had that issue. You see Jimmy Cocker in that Virginia Tech 11 right behind him. I think I saw Jeff No go down pit road as well. Andrew Wisdom right now sitting 11th on pit road. So it's just the top 10 back to Brendan Book that stayed on track.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible. And yes, I have been short so many times from what iRacing has decided to give me. So I've quit using that. I have come across like on fumes. I've lost out on a few races simply because of fuel. So yeah, I'm not listening to that. I don't know if that's the case for them, but a lot of changes are going to be made just from that part of it. A lot of positions need to be made back with 8 to go. So we'll see how it goes. Monster Toe, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Hope you're doing well.
Well, Micah Allard pit time of 14:77. No surprise or no guesses needed as to what he did. Brendan Book in front of him. Jeremy Kramer, and Matt Gale all in his single-digit pit times. 15.2 seconds for Dane Cruz up to 7th spot. So this is going to bode very, very well for him after having a little bit of an issue with the green flag pit stop. John Honeycutt, Tom Flickcroft, Brian McCann, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Justin Anaskok, and Cody Kalinka. How about Cody? Up 2 spots after starting 3rd in that Black Rifle Coffee, number 79, leading the way.
You know, he's one of the drivers that I just love to see the progression in his racing career and throughout the seasons here at SnB. So he's doing a fantastic job, and he has gotten so much better at maneuvering around these cars and making his way up to the front. He's got his teammates around him for support, but I can tell you what, last couple of laps, they are on their own. So Cody's really going to have to defend what he's got, be aggressive, but not make silly mistakes. And you do all that at the same time, mistakes are bound to happen. We'll see what they can do with 7 to go as we get ready to go back to green. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be a wild one. Monster Toe says the 00 for the win. It's going to be Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, who we've consistently seen up front here tonight.
Absolutely. So we'll see if Cody Kalinka can handle the push from the 00 of Jurgensmeyer. We know that the 4 of Anaskog, he can push and be pushed, and he's got a great driver right behind him in that blank number 6, that matte black number 6 for Brian McCann. Flitcroft right now in the top 5 with your Team FTR driver in the 50 of John Honeycutt, bringing it back with that retro Nintendo scheme. So some very stout drivers up here in this top 6. What do you think, Elijah? Do you think the winner comes from behind them, or do you think it's going to be one of these guys up front already?
I don't know, Pete. I think we're going to see another caution. I think it's going to shake things up even again. So, yeah, I don't think anything is set in stone. It's far from it. Anything can happen. Anyone can win. And Mikey says number 4 for the win. It's going to be Justin, who sits currently on that high side, P2.
Well, we'll have to see if Red Bull really gives that 4-car wings or not. But yeah, coming to 6 to go. Eliza, this isn't quite at the distance where, or it's actually too far out yet. You can't lock bumpers just yet. If this was a green-white checker, I say give it hell. Let's go full send. Just hold your line and see where you end up when it's all said and done. It's too early for that. You would blow your motor in the amount of laps that are left. Again, when the green flag waves right here, 6 laps remaining of 90, season opener. Let's race.
Here we go for the hopefully final time we get these guys around from a caution, but Cody Kalinka leading the field, and already these guys are all over each other. Take a look at this. The low line, they have the top 3 drivers on top of each other. The high side, top 3 drivers on each other, and then there's a little bit of a space, some wiggle room to make a mistake or gain some momentum and make a pass. I guarantee we're going to see 3 wide very shortly, Pete.
Well, look at that high side. You want to talk about momentum and pass. The 4 off the front bumper of the 6 of Brian McCann rockets to the lead. Kalinka still down low, but the 4 able to hold it at bay up on that high side. 7900 and the 8 of Flitcroft. Flitcroft starting to make his presence known yet again. Coming to 5 to go.
Yeah, this is getting crazy, and I'm kind of wondering if that 45 is going to have a look in his rear view and make sure that the 67 of Matthew Gale stays behind him. I'm not wanting him to go to the high side. It gets too crazy, and you don't want to lose the spot, so I'm going to try to keep some space from the guys in front of me, help push with the air, but keep that 67 behind because he is looking anxious to get out there.
Eliza, I wonder if that 6 pushed that 4 just to see how fast he'd be able to get him up to speed. Now he's got the 45 and more company right behind. It seems like the bottom line and the high line both have just about the same amount of cars. So it's going to be close to the same amount of momentum. And just as I say that, the 50 of John Honeycutt goes down underneath the 67 of Matt Gale. So put more numbers on the bottom. Can the high side hold the line?
Things are starting to get a little sketchy out here, and take a look. These top 11 or so drivers have broken away from the next pack in the field. So we'll see if they can come back up here. But with 4 to go, I think these are going to be the drivers that have a shot at the win. These guys are on top of each other. They cannot make a mistake, but you know they're going to try to go for a win.
Oh, absolutely. The 61 of Micah Allard and the 14 of Jeff No, they've consistently tried that high side a couple times. It's just the 67 wasn't able to pull out and go with them. If they get some more numbers up there, they might have a little bit better of a shot at that really high third lane. But right now, those 2 bottom lanes really staying even. This could be a big drag race to the line on the final lap.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the second pack, and it's going to be led by Andrew Wisdom. We have Brendan Book in that pack, and they are doing all that they can, but they don't have enough help behind him. He's got Jordan McGraw, and it looks like Jimmy Cocker there, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make it happen. 3 to go. Justin out in the lead once again. Cody Kalinka in second. Anything can happen, but I'll tell you what, Tom Flitcroft, the 2-time winner for Daytona, he is sitting there P6. You know he's going to try to get his 3rd win in a row.
Oh, he's got the Dale Jr. scheme that won here in
Yeah.
what 2001. So yeah, he's ready to get this thing. Whoa!
Oh,
Just as I say that, he's going to be able to hold on to it. Looks like the 50 of John Honeycutt with a little bit of evasive maneuvering. The 8 completely out of this race for the front anyway. But
wow.
big save.
Slideways for Tom Flitcroft, but an incredible save. Unfortunately, I feel like I gave him the Booth jinx right there. He is going to fall, and he's going to fall hard to 13th. That's going to be extremely difficult to make it back up there with only 2 to go. But an exciting race for these top drivers. John Honeycutt, a little bit of space between him and that front pack. The spacing happened with Tom Flitcroft, but these drivers, the top 7, it is on like Donkey Kong, I'm going to say.
White flag racing through turns 1 and 2. It's going to be the 79 and the 4 of Justin Anscock on the front row. The 00 of Jurgensmeyer, the 6 of McCann. You see the 45 and so many more trying to pull their way back on up, but I think it's going to be too late. Down the backstretch, Eliza, this is going to be 3 and 4 for the last time. Let's go.
Justin out in the lead, a huge wreck happening. 45 loses it. It's just going to be Justin and Brian that survived this. What an ending. We have Brendan Book in 3rd, and he was in that second pack side by side. This is crazy. Who's going to get it? Brian McCann, rookie of this season, coming in here part-time, gets it done, takes it away from Justin. What a finish, Pete.
Yeah, Justin Anscock went up high to block the 6, pulled it low, was able to keep it going. Even with the 4 having the momentum on the high side, Justin Anscock comes home P2. Brendan Book brings that number 5 home P3. Cody Kalinka, who was up front coming across the white line, brings it home P4. And Andrew Wisdom, the Season 2 and Season 3 champ, brings it home P5.
Wow, an absolute crazy race, a crazy finish. These guys did a great job out here. Let's see if we can get Brian to the booth, because I don't see him out here in chats. We'll see if we can't get him in here, and we'll get Justin in here and also Brendan Book. But man, oh man, what a race. Justin, congratulations on P2. I was talking to you before the race here tonight, and you were talking about the car handling. How was your race, and man, how did you make your way up front here?
Just did a little pit strategy there. That last caution before the long run, before the pit stops, I went down and got some more fuel, and then I had to take less. That allowed me to take less fuel than everybody else, and still came out in front of that pack, thankfully. And but yeah, overall good race. And shout out to the 6 for pushing me. And man, I just needed a little bit more time to get him.
Yeah, he did a great job. We're watching him celebrate out there, and I see he just joined. But man, oh man, side by side battle for the win. You gotta love being in second and being so close, but I'm sure it stings a little bit to not get it all the way done.
Yeah, it is, but the 6 stayed with me for the last, I think, 10 laps or so. So he definitely deserves it at the end there.
Absolutely. Well, great job here tonight for P2. Congratulations. I personally cannot wait to see what you do for the remainder of the race. It's been fun watching you come out here last season, and I'm excited to see what you do here in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Pete. I know you want to give Brian an interview here for his win, making his debut. Let's have it.
I thought I was going to go ahead and talk to Brendan Book, but I'll be more than happy to talk to Brian McCann. Brian, it is repeat. Buddy, great to see you get it done here in the Shake and Bake iRacing Xfinity Series. This has been coming for a long time, able to get into the ranks. You stayed inside the top 5 just about all night long. When it came down to those green flag pit stops, how did you know when the rest were coming or who you're going to have to work with to be able to come around and have a shot at this W, sir?
Hey man, thank you. Yeah, those green flag pit stops. Wasn't really sure what to do. We was out in the lead. I don't really know anybody in here. It was my first race, so thank you, everybody. But looking behind me, I was trying to figure out, who was going to pit and when, try to, gauge what they were going to do. And luckily, the 2 people behind me that was bump drafting me, they called it out over the radio, so I went in with them. Had a little miss up on the pit road, got out a little slow, but we came out like third or fifth or something. I forget what it was, and then a pack of cars passed us, and I just fought my way back up to the front.
Phenomenal finish for you. I know that you're just here part-time. You are a full-time driver over in the IROC series. I wish you a whole lot of luck. Can't wait to see you back sometime during this this season, sir. Congratulations on this W.
Thank you, thank you.
You got it. All right, Eliza, Brendan Books with you.
Brendan Book, we saw quite a race from you. You had your whole team coming up through the field. You started off 18th. How did you make it up to the field, up through the field with your teammates?
No, yeah, I had a really bad qualifying effort there, so a little, interesting there with the stages and everyone racing hard, but still slowly made the ground up. Threaded a needle on a wreck there around lap 39 or something like that. Excuse me. So yeah, then our team, we did a great job. We had the track position, and then on that last caution, I drove by my pit stall when pitting under yellow, and then so I kind of lost everybody, group with everybody there on that restart, and I got up to Wisdom, who had some damage, and I pushed him all the way back up, and then the C's parted ways for me on that last wreck. I probably should have been like 10th or so, but I'll take a third place. I mean, overall, I think pretty average race. I didn't get no stage points. I kind of wanted to get that, but really good race. I think overall, we only had 4 cautions, so I think that's a good opening, for the series. And everybody looked like they raced hard and clean for the most part. So kudos to everybody out there on the track. And hopefully, this season can be fun.
Absolutely. Well, I gotta ask, stages are new this season. So in your opinion, how important is it to get those stage points as you head into the playoffs later on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously for playoff seeding, you get stage points, that's regular season standings, right? And then
Right.
also like that stage point that we got now, or playoff point for the stage win. So that's, another way to accumulate those points in the first 12 races here. And especially with it only being 12 races, there's so few opportunities to get those playoff points. So, those winning stage is going to be very important. Obviously, super speedway, it's kind of more where how you position yourself. We'll see how it goes at these next week, at Atlanta, about it's gonna be about driving hard a little bit, I think, but I think the stages are just long enough to where you have to save a little bit of tire. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be make things interesting.
Absolutely. Well, you guys heard it right here. We have Brian McCann, first night out with us, and he wins it on his debut. So a huge congratulations to him. And next week is going to be Atlanta, the legacy version. We have 150 laps out here, August 12th, which is going to be next Monday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. A great race, a wild finish. Pete, it's always fun.
Oh, it's always fun. I'm so glad that season 4 is underway. We'll have to see how Legacy Atlanta handles with 30-plus Xfinity drivers in next week's field. I'll see you there, Eliza.
Take it easy, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you same time, same day next week, Monday, 8:17 p.m. Eastern Time.